Is it possible that your family are involved and you simply don't know about it?
Not a chance of us, Stephen. Maybe a couple of kids throwing a couple of stones or whatever. I can't watch them all the time. You know, the last time now, the petrol bombed the house last week, it nearly caused retaliation. Very nearly called retaliation. I phoned the police and told them to put extra security in Ballymuphy at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I actually drove into the area to see if there was any of my family there to chase them home. And I got arrested for 9.5 hours for having a novelty baseball bat in my car. It's a child bought me from Spain. You know, but my family's they're not doing that. Maybe the odd kid's throwing a couple of stones, whatever. That's as far as it goes.
I wondered if Josie...
But while we were filming in Ballymuphy, we heard Victor had been arrested again.
Do you know what happened to Victor now? So he was arrested this morning?
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Hello, is that Victor? Victor, it's Stephen Walker. Yeah, what's
It
happened,
turned
Victor?
out to be Victor's second arrest in a week, this time over the alleged discovery of bullets. Bullets which he says simply don't belong to him. To date, no charges have been brought.
8:30.
On the estate, trouble like this rumbles on. Some of it caught on camera by residents. Many point the finger of suspicion at a gang of local youths nicknamed the Rat Pack or Rugrats. The Notarantonios allege this gang includes people associated with the Devlin family.
There's nobody seen about stepping in to stop this Rat Pack from doing all the damage. Because, see, neighbours and all, they are terrified of them.
They are afraid.
Everybody is afraid to come out against them.
Back at one of the Notarantonios' houses, relatives have dropped in to see how they're coping. Inevitably, there's only one topic of conversation.
The trouble is there's new gangs. It started off maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, and now it's like there's ones from New Barnsley coming in, there's ones from my yard coming in, there's ones from, and this is the same gang that's bringing, and they're actually willing the other children on.
They're bringing the children in to do the damage.
They're instigating the other kids on. You can actually see what's happening. And then innocent kids come. It's a game. It's just fun and games.
But members of the Devlin family say their children aren't involved.
There are youngsters in this area going into empty houses and they're re-burning shells. But children didn't do those houses. They were done by whoever done those houses meant done them and done them right. But that wasn't done by children. None of these attacks have been done by children.
What are the allegations that kids from the Devlin family are involved in these attacks?
Well, simply what you said, they're allegations. Nobody from the Devlin family has been charged with that.
For the community, the activities of this gang of juveniles is making daily life unbearable.
They're a group of youths that have been named the Rugrats, and they're basically children, but they're involved in criminality, the whole range of criminality of throwing stones, intimidation, and indeed right up to making petrol bombs and throwing petrol bombs. And that's not just at other members of the sort of opposing community, but indeed at the police themselves.
Such attacks mean the PSNI can't police the area properly, and they admit they're failing people in Ballymuphy.
Because of officer safety, on a lot of occasions we just have to patrol in the Land Rovers, and that's very frustrating because I'm not providing a professional and effective policing service to the Ballymuphy, not through our fault, but unfortunately the social situation that exists there at the moment.
Do you feel then that you are letting people down?
Well, when I say letting people down, we could provide a better service if we were out on the patrol on foot.
Since Jared Devlin's death, police have dealt with 600 feud-related incidents, putting the area at the centre of a crime wave.
Normally the weekends does provide us with additional problems, youth causing annoyance, drinking on the street, etc. And that leads on then to damage to police vehicles which are patrolling the area. There have been numerous vehicles damaged, there have been numerous officers injured. So again, this obviously adds to the problems of policing this particular area.
Frightened and fed up with the attacks, many residents have had enough. So much so that they've done something that has rarely happened in places like Ballymuphy. They've started to talk to the police.
The area is becoming a lot more friendlier towards the police. Certainly in the early days, there's a lot more open hostility, but we are now busier than we ever have been, and the calls and people reporting incidents are certainly on the increase.
But there is still strong opposition to the police on the estate. Every weekend, local residents are out on the streets trying to stop trouble breaking out. Stephen Core works for a group who run their own form of neighbourhood watch. They argue they're not an alternative to the police, and say in recent months they've proved their worth.
The amount of incidents which we ourselves deal with in this office has more or less doubled since the murder of Jared Devlin. The perceived norms of crime are raising. People, you know, an incident 3 years ago which would have led to public outcry hardly raises an eyebrow now. That's our main concern. It's a community becoming accustomed and conditioned to continuing and violent activity.
That dramatic rise in crime has also increased the expectation that the police should actually be doing more to make the streets safer.
We want to see action. Forget the PR stuff and all the cosmetic stuff. Give us action, start arresting, make arrests across the board, and get those responsible put behind bars.
The police say that since Jared Devlin died, they've made 50 searches in Ballymuphy and 31 people have been charged. But for some, that's not enough.
The police know who's attacking the houses, burning the houses, causing the trouble. It's time they're put in jail or hate bank, wherever it has to be. They have caused millions of pounds of damage.
In Ballymuphy, sorting out the truth behind the hundreds of incidents that the feud has generated is a complicated business. It's clear a blame game on a grand scale is underway, and part of that involves giving the police wrong information.
Do you think people are deliberately misleading you?
On occasions, as a result of investigations, we have found that information given to us was incorrect. As to why it was incorrect, I don't know. But yes, information has been given to us that has been incorrect. People are in a very volatile situation. They're in an emotional situation, and therefore, unfortunately, on occasions like that, recollections and memories may not just be as would be in a normal social situation.
The estate has become a world of claim and counterclaim, a place where rumour and speculation thrive.
While we've been here in Ballymuphy, we've been given this leaflet which was posted through every door in the district before Jared Devlin died. It was issued by a group who call themselves Community Safety Network, who say they intend to protect the community. The leaflet states, "We will not be held hostage to people intent on settling vendettas on the streets of our community. Remove yourselves from our streets. Take your disputes to the murky underworlds you move in."
Stephen Core was working for Community Safety Network when the leaflet was produced. He says it was printed after rumours began to circulate that a bounty of £10,000 had been placed on the head of Jared Devlin.
There was a bounty being put on a man's head, or was it perceived, or it was reported in the local press that a bounty had been put on a man's head. If you don't get much more serious than that.
He says the leaflet was issued to allay people's fears and was not intended to intimidate anyone.
No one was forced, no one was visited and said get out, or there was none of that kind. It was just the people don't want you. You're subjecting your neighbours and your friends and people who you grew up with to intimidation by your very actions. Please leave.
But that could be interpreted as a threat.
All things can be interpreted as threats, you know. It's open to interpretation, you're right, but it wasn't meant to be a threat.
But was it up to Community Safety Network to issue that and tell this family to move?
Well, Community Safety Network is, is the community as such. So if there's no one else there to make that call, to come in and stand up for the people of this area, then local community activists see it as their role.